All right, welcome everyone. We're very happy to have you here. With us today, we have Simone from IoTeX. Simone is the developer advocate from IoTeX. And I'm Leibing from Covalent. And today we'll be presenting to you a couple of things, right? First of all, what is IoTeX? How you can start building on IoTeX? How is IoTeX different from the other blockchains? And how you can leverage Covalent API in order to build your Dapps or your client-facing apps from OpenC to Portfolio Manager to DEX aggregators, all sorts of Dapps. All right, so I'm based in Singapore. Covalent is based in Vancouver, and Simone is based in Italy right now. So as you can see, it's 6 p.m. for him, and it's actually 12 a.m. for me. All right, Simone, would you take it away?
Yeah. Can you all see my screen?
Yep, it's good.
Okay, so hi everyone. So my name is Simone. I'm responsible for the developers community growth at IoTeX. Thank you, Leibing, for having me. And so I want to start with a question. So did you ever ask yourself why, after 8 years from when the smart contract technology was made available by Ethereum, you still don't see the apps using real world data, like, for example, GPS location, right? Everybody wants your GPS location, but we still don't see it used into smart contracts. So what if any data collected by devices and machines, like, for example, from this microphone I have here, from cameras, from home appliance, from robots in a factory, right? What if they could be used into smart contracts? What we could build? Can you imagine? So, well, the reason why you don't see this data used is because blockchain cannot trust real world data. It does not undergo a decentralized consensus like it happens for data within the blockchain. So making this data trusted is just not so easy. Now, in the next 15, 20 minutes, I'm going to tell you something more about IoTeX and our vision for the blockchain and IoT intersection, and what we call the MachineFi revolution. So at IoTeX, we've built a layer 1 blockchain, first of all, and we are using it for a very unique purpose, to connect the real world to the Web3 space, right, to the metaverse. And now we all know the world is becoming more and more digital. We see it under our eyes. And while it becomes more digital, many machines pop up and devices pop up continuously in our personal and professional life, right? And our goal at IoTeX from day one has always been to connect these real world devices and the data that they generate to Web3 apps, because you have to ask yourself, who is going to own all these data? Who is going to own the economy behind all these machines, right? That's why blockchain has been built for, to get back ownership, right, to the communities. So the IoTeX layer 1 is fast, it's low fee, it's a secure platform that already powers a big ecosystem of DeFi and GameFi and MachineFi applications. It's a blockchain. It's built completely from scratch, starting 2017. It has a 5-second fast block time and 1 block instant finality for transactions. And it's been built to be 100% Ethereum API and EVM compatible, and it uses our in-house consensus mechanism called roll DPoS, which stands for randomized delegated proof of stake, and is based on the standard delegated proof of stake. Just it's more scalable, more secure, and more decentralized. And it allows for extremely low fees, which are in the range of $0.001 for transactions. So this is let me show you, let me go ahead, here. And this is a quick overview of the current IoTeX ecosystem, the main part of the IoTeX ecosystem. It's updated to end of 2021. And this is before Chainlink is going to get integrated into IoTeX. That will happen sometime soon in 2022. So, but this is not what actually differentiates us from other blockchain projects. Let me go ahead here. So IoTeX, what differentiates IoTeX is that IoTeX is kind of standing on the verge of Web3 and the real world. And it's driving machine network economies while machines do their stuff in the real world. So on one hand, we have the IoTeX EVM compatible layer 1 blockchain, as we just said. And on the other hand, there is this layer 2 computational oracle, which we are going to launch this year. The name is still not finalized yet. This oracle has the capability to talk with different devices and machines, no matter if it's a small smart ring in your finger, on your finger, or an autonomous car, or a robot, or a home appliance, or whatever. The IoTeX goal is to build a decentralized platform that talks to these machines, understands and proves what they've done in the real world in order to trigger trusted logic or give token rewards or NFTs or something else to machines or to their owners in the Web3 space. So as a result of the IoTeX research, which by the way, we carry on from day one, because we are vice chair of the IEEE group for the use of blockchain in the IoT. We are co-chair of the blockchain group in the IIC, the Industrial Intern Consortium. We are member of the Confidential Computing Consortium and other industrial research associations. And as a result of our research in the IoT and blockchain intersection, Pebble Tracker and UCAM are two examples. We lead by examples in this space that have been designed and manufactured as IoTeX-powered devices for mass adoption. UCAM is a personal, I have one here, I think, yeah, this one. So UCAM is a personal security camera or a baby camera, they call it, or pet camera also, they call it, that utilizes the IoTeX blockchain to be more secure against IoT attacks and to deliver 100% end-to-end encrypted private videos that you, the owner of the device, own, because you are the owner of the blockchain account that is used to encrypt the video. And it's built by Tenvis and can be bought by anyone on Amazon.com. Pebble Tracker, instead, I also have one device here. Yeah, this one. Pebble Tracker is even more interesting, actually, or interesting in a different way. It's a general purpose IoT tracker device that can provide trusted IoT data to be used into the apps. And it includes a GPS antenna, temperature sensor, humidity, air pressure sensors, 3-axis accelerometer to track movement, 3-axis gyroscope to track orientation, and an ambient light sensor. And the hardware and the firmware of Pebble Tracker are the design of the hardware and the firmware is the most important part of this device. And they are designed to make the device data and the device identity itself verifiable for smart contracts. And so we are using it into this tracker as an example, but the technology can be applied to any device. And it works in conjunction with our layer 1 decentralized identities and of course, smart contracts and other layer 1 technologies, and in the middle with the IoTeX Oracle, managing the data of the device. So let's say by now, until now, blockchain can drive lots of transactions for sure within the Web3 crypto space. We have huge value locked into smart contracts today, but we should think of the long-term vision, right, of Web3 and blockchain. And that the long-term vision is that this blockchain can also drive the real-world economy, which is many, many times bigger than the entire Web3 economy that's running today. And this is the problem that IoTeX is trying to tackle, right? How we can do that. So in order for blockchain to drive our real-world economy, there must be something in the middle between us, the people, and the Web3 space, the metaverse. This something is, as we understand, as we already understood, are machines, right? And according to McKinsey, it's going to be 100 billion machines by 2030, producing almost 13 trillions worth of economy value and replacing 30% of the human workforce. still always by 2030. So it's clear that a network for this machine is the missing piece between the Web3 world and the real world. So let's take a quick look, a high-level look at what can be done once this network that connects machines to the Web3 is in place, right? One thing, of course, you can do, you can mirror real-world Web3 to, you can mirror the real world to the Web3. For example, if you can walk, say, 3 or 5 miles per day, or you can exercise regularly, then maybe in a gaming space, maybe your Web3 avatar becomes stronger, or it starts looking better, or weather traffic or weather data or traffic data can be used to calculate indexes that are very useful for weather insurances or for improving, let's say, the route of an ambulance rushing to reach the hospital. And these are very good real world data examples that can be mirrored from the real world to the Web3 to allow the creation of meaningful products. Another way to think about machine networks is on the opposite direction, right? How we can program the real world from the Web3 space. So suppose you have a token, in a Web3 token, and you can use it to incentivize people to do specific things in the real world, or to have a specific behavior. For example, you can incentivize people to go to a specific event by giving them an NFT if you can prove that they actually attended that event by location, for example. Or you can have people to watch this specific webinar if you give them 1 Ethereum, for example, right? So crypto incentives, we know, can be a very powerful tool to program, to make things happen in the real world that otherwise would be very hard to make possible. A third example scenario would be community-owned public utility. For example, publicly maintained wireless connectivity type of on the Helium style, for example, right? Where the infrastructure, the network of machines that provide the connectivity is itself provided by the community. Or scooter mobility, storage, vending machines, autonomous cars, all of them fall into the public owned utility type of applications. And finally, of course, you can tokenize real world assets, your private personal assets, and you can turn them into digital assets that can be used in the Web3 space and create new living experiences. Yeah, now let's talk a little bit about MachineFi. So that's why we coined this term, which is MachineFi. MachineFi is a methodology to bootstrap, to jumpstart machine economies in a very decentralized way. You can see that there exist very few large-scale machine networks in the world. And the reason is that it's extremely expensive to jumpstart this type of networks. Who is going to put the money up front, for example, to buy all the machines, all the required hardware? Who can really handle the deployment of all these machines in the real world, right? This is just not possible for everybody, or it's only accessible to giant companies like Amazon, Google, or for example, a cellular connectivity company like AT&T, right? But not for everybody, every single person. So MachineFi for us is the methodology that tries to incentivize the creation, the deployment of network of machines, the creation of economies on top of the data coming out of these machines, and finally to enable the governing feature of these networks. You can imagine autonomous cars that can pick up people and take them to their destinations without human intervention, and then car owners can just get a passive income from having their car download the software for joining this network and join it. Very futuristic, of course, but. So let's take a very quick look, very high level, to the technical part of how this works. Basically, you have devices on one side in the real world, no matter they are cars, pebble trackers, robots, whatever. They can provide some sort of real world data or information or facts, right, that happens, or telemetrics, for example, to the IoTeX layer 2 oracle. This is a decentralized cluster of nodes collecting IoT data, verifying the data, indexing, and storing, maybe even for a certain period of time, all this data. And the apps can give a predicate to the Oracle and ask, for example, give me all the blockchain accounts that have been, say, in Amsterdam between April 22 and April 24. That's when the ETH Amsterdam 2022 event will take place, right? And then this reply from the Oracle, it gets sent back to the calling the app, which in turn can decide if a specific wallet does qualify for an airdrop, or, for example, if it's an IDO smart contract, if the wallet qualifies for the requirements for the IDO. If, for example, there are requirements based on the location, on the countries that have access to the IDO. So this is a very high-level view of this layer 2, and it's very composable, very useful to build interesting use cases. So I want to take you through a few of these use cases, because this can help understand better what can be built with this type of technology. These are real use cases, so from companies that are actually building on IoTeX, but of course there are many more. So one use case is Drive to Earn. So this is a company based in Denmark, and they're designing this device that utilizes the popular OBD2 port and protocol that is on most, or I think even any car. And it's used to collect driving data like velocity, and it also adds the GPS location. It can collect engine health and engine like car status and any type of information provided by the protocol. And in this type of electronic products, the profit margin we know can be very small, and scaling the business itself can be very, very hard. So by making this device a client of the IoTeX platform, meaning enabling this device to send the data to the IoTeX Oracle, then the company themselves or other companies that are blockchain, the app builders, can then use this data to build the Drive to Earn type of projects. So ultimately, users are incentivized to drive, for example, from point A to point B by earning a token, because they contribute their driving data to the network, and other projects can use and pay for this data. And so this data can be monetized or even gamified. And that's what provides the value to the token and starts the positive circle where there is more demand for the data, the token value rises, the more users are incentivized to use the device, so more devices are sold, and leading to more data that can be used by more apps and more users, and so on and so forth. So this was one interesting example. Another example is Move to Earn. So in this use case is also very interesting, and there is a European company called HealthBlocks that works on a big platform about using health data, collecting and using health data in a private way, giving the ownership of this data to the users that generate the data. And they're building on top of IoTeX this type of application. We all know that healthy lifestyles are important for the individual as well as for the entire community. And it should be definitely incentivized, right? So that's why this company will build a health-based app on top of IoTeX that is called Run to Earn. And it will initially utilize the Pebble tracker that we have seen before, where people carry the Pebble tracker with them outdoor, and the app will use the movement data to understand the activity of people and rewarding them for their healthy lifestyle. Another very, very interesting use case comes from CityDAO. CityDAO is a popular blockchain project. It's a group of people that started this DAO project, decentralized autonomous organization, to build a network of assets on chain. So they started with buying a piece of land in Wyoming, which has been split into smaller parcels that have been tokenized with the idea of building a city on this land. And that's why it's a CityDAO project. So they use IoTeX Pebble Tracker to give the device to the CityDAO people and they installed it into their parcel 0 of this DAO, and the device is used to send all sorts of sensor readings to IoTeX, including the GPS location, the temperature, the humidity, etc. And basically, it's proving that a piece of land is real. It exists in that place, and it has all the environmental factors that it's supposed to have, right? So basically, that parcel is kind of being tokenized with all its own environmental features. And for example, the owner can put it on sale, and it can be bought with CityDAO tokens. So this is kind of proof of residence, if you want, or even proof of existence, if you want to call it like this. Another popular use case, of course, something that we expect to see as the first type of applications, it's of course gaming. And this is an excellent example of use case of real world data. And today we are already seeing two very interesting categories of products being created on IoTeX. One is the Pokemon Go type of games, like this IoTeX Monster Go, where basically the real world location of the gamer is used inside the game, for example, to collect in-game assets in the form of NFTs based on where the gamer is actually located in the real world. Another example is Star Crazy. It's a very popular card game on IoTeX, and they already have a lot of players all around the world. So they improved the game, and this game is basically happening in a fantasy world made of many different planets. And basically users are kind of assigned to play on specific planets based on where they are located in the real world. And this is a very interesting project on the IoTeX network that can lead to many more interesting evolutions of the game. Let's see another one, which is, use case. This is another popular use case in general that has been we have heard about this use case many times, right? But it's connected to the real world. So it makes a lot of sense for IoTeX and actual devices that can prove real world facts about this use case. So this is the SumoTeX project, and they want to do this sort of fractional ownership of real estates. And they use the IoTeX platform and technology to prove that there is a real house, say near San Francisco, and they will tokenize it and sell it in the form of NFTs. These NFTs can then be staked to earn passive income, for example, also connecting the logic to some real value, like the renting of the house or any other value this building produces in the real world. What else we have? So right. Let's say something about the future here. So we have seen some examples. They give a very good idea of the IoTeX vision. You can think of a wearable, for example. Could be a Fitbit, could be, I don't know how it's called, it's a Google Ring or Amazon Ring, I don't know, or any other thing, right? Any other type of wearable. We want people to be able to connect their devices to the IoTeX blockchain if they want, and contribute to data. And maybe a Web3 team will decide to build a token economy on top of the data and incentivize people to drive to earn, sleep to earn, even live to earn, right? So you can also decide to tokenize your personal achievements with the proof that you actually did it in the real world. Then try to sell these achievements on OpenC. That's also possible on IoTeX. Or you can incentivize people to do something and build a community, anything, and build a community around it. But the core part here is that you have to prove that these things happen in the real world in a trusted way. And these are very powerful concepts related to MachineFi. Another thing we can think of, for example, a fleet of autonomous cars. Instead of having one company managing this business, this can be jump-started by people, and there can be devices on board of these cars, and you can have a car token, and you can have a DAO associated to this fleet of cars, trying to manage the cars, renting them or use them for whatever purpose, and then people that are like participants of the DAO can then get a passive income out of the data that comes from this fleet of cars with a real-time profit sharing based on their token ownership. Same apply for 3D printers, solar panels, scooters, smart homes, whatever you can think of. Okay, I think I can stop here. Yeah.
Awesome.
Hand over to you, Leibing.
A lot of
very
information. Exciting information, all really futuristic, right? Because really what IoTeX is doing is kind of envisioning a future where a lot of the applications that we have become smart applications, right? They're not just what you call analog anymore. They transmit data, verifiable data that can be then used in a composable network for all sorts of use cases, right? And that is also how Covalent comes into the picture. Let me just share with you my screen about what Covalent is and how it matters to you as a developer working on the IoTeX ecosystem. What is Covalent API? Covalent API is, as the name suggests, an API service. We are a data provider specifically of blockchain data. We promote the one unified API approach, right? Where we have a single endpoint that allows you to access all kinds, 28 blockchains data just by changing the chain ID, right? We have multiple categories of data that you can query, all using the same kind of format across different blockchains. We are queryable from the cloud, from the browser. You don't really need code to use our API as well. There is an analyst mode on our documentation that allows you to download the blockchain, very rich blockchain data in Excel sheet or CSV formats. It enables you basically to query, multi-chain data in a matter of not even minutes, seconds, right? So how do we fit into the crypto stack, right? A lot of people ask, oh, isn't like the data hosted on blockchains? Why do we need a data provider to provide us the data? Well, if you have worked within this space, you will know that sometimes blockchain data is notoriously difficult to get, especially in aggregated forms that are useful for your application, right? Blockchains themselves, they host the data. As you can see, they are, all the data can be accessed through, most of the time, RPC JSON nodes. But then to do slightly more complicated queries, like finding how many token holders do I have of this token, or what are the blocks that are produced for this day, right? All these questions, like typical SQL questions that you ask, that any business analyst would ask, these are not very easy to access for a majority of blockchains, right? So there's that gap there in market. So what Covalent does is that we are a data layer that aggregates the data, packages it up, and presents it in a series of different endpoints that's relevant to you. Like, let's say if you're a builder of NFT marketplaces, right? We've got a couple of endpoints that will be really useful that can help you spin up something like OpenC within a matter of a couple of hours, right? We have wallet transaction data that allows you to create your own MetaMask within another matter of hours, right? All these are aggregated data. It doesn't require you to write different subgraphs for different kinds of like different protocols. It does not require you to really dig deep into the quirks of each blockchain. All these are presented to you for you to build your dApp, right? So our users typically come from either dApp developers or analysts. The developers use our data in the developer mode. And I'm going to give you a quick demo of how you can access the Covalent API just from the browser. We have two classes of data. We have class A endpoints and class B endpoints. Class A endpoints are the kinds of data that is present in every single blockchain. Balances. What's the token balances for my address on Ethereum, on Polygon, on IoTeX, right? You can get that by keying in your address here. And then you can click run. And just from the browser itself, you can see the response. So I think this is a demo.eth. There's lots of I think items returned from this. As you can see, there's 125 different token balances for this demo address, for this address. And what are they? They are this token, this token. This is just returned in JSON response format. If you key in your address, you can get your historical portfolio value for the last 30 days. What is this useful for? Of course, building that chart, right, of your historical portfolio value, which is very useful. And you can get all your ERC20 token transactions, etc. So this is our first category of endpoints under class A, balances. You can get it across all kinds of chains. Right now, we are on Ethereum mainnet with a chain ID of 1. Let's say I want to find my balance on Polygon, on Matic. So I just change it to chain ID and bam, I do the same thing. I click run and you can get it in browser. Or if you want to get the actual query string itself, you can click here. Oh, this is the address that takes a long time to load again. But yeah, you can find it in this format, right? And this is all your response items. So going back to my deck. So as you can see, there's lots of different kinds of data you can get on-chain. Let's see what kind of IoTeX on-chain data you can get. We have integrated Covalent with IoTeX, and the IoTeX chain ID is 4689. All right. And as Simone mentioned just now, IoTeX itself has a block time of 5 seconds. Our Covalent API has a latency of 2 blocks. What does that mean? That means whatever that's happening live on IoTeX will be reflected 2 blocks later on the Covalent API. So almost real time, really fast, right? But just 2 blocks delay from the actual networks. And these, again, are our supported endpoints. We have class A balances, like I shown you just now. We also have NFT endpoints, where you can get the token IDs for a particular collection, right? This is a common query that you have. Let's say you've got, cyberpunks, or there was this recent NFT collection called Mutant Ape Yacht Club, right? So you want to find what are all the token IDs for the collection. You can use this endpoint. You want to find what are the transactions that has gone through NFT transactions or transactions of the Mutant Ape Yacht Club. You can use this, right, to find how many NFTs changed hands. NFT external metadata is very useful for getting the actual image of the NFT to display in your NFT gallery or any kind of NFT wallet. Now, there are two new NFT endpoints. One of them is the Get NFT Market Global View endpoint, which gives you really a very rich, granular look at how every single collection is doing within a specific ecosystem, right? It gives you the market cap, it gives you the 24-hour volume, and it even gives you a 7-day price floor. And just to show you what it looks like, we've actually got a template here on Replit. This will take a slight while to wake up, but before that, I'm just going to show you one more category of under class A, which is transactions. You can get all transactions for address. And the last category is base. For this, you can get the number of block heights within a particular day, get block heights, which is not apparent actually, right? It's quite difficult to get that information. You can get log events by contract address. This is a Swiss Army knife. So how data is hosted within blockchains is typically, within their emitted log events, which is really, really difficult to query. And unless you subscribe and listen to the event and do kind of like, manual calculation and aggregation based on that. For this, you can just key in the contract address and it'll give you all the log events of that particular contract. And all you need to do on the front end is to just filter it to find the relevant kinds of transactions that you're interested in. Okay, so there are 4 categories under Class A endpoints, and these are balances, NFTs, transactions, and base. So with this, you can build all kinds of things. Now, I think this is loaded. So this is built using our NFT Market Global View endpoint. As you can see, this is all the NFT collections on Polygon network, and you can see their market cap here. You can see the 24-hour volume here. You can see their average price, right? And the number of wallets that hold this NFT. So it is like your radar that shows you the different NFT collections of different chains. Really fast and easy, right? Gives you great insight into how each collection is doing. When you click into each collection, it shows you more granular, detailed information, like the price floor for the last 7 days. Very difficult to get stuff. Okay, with that, all these endpoints, you can build your own OpenC. These are the endpoints that allows you to build different items within the OpenC pages, right? For instance, this one, number 1, can be built using our NFT market endpoint. All these using our NFT metadata endpoint. These chains, can just be done by switching the chain ID, and then these attributes of each NFT are also present within the NFT metadata endpoint. All these, apart from this is centralized data collected on OpenC, which is not exposed to us. It is not on chain anyway. So, but all the rest of these can be built. How do you build Zapper, a portfolio manager, right? So each of these can be built as well with a lot of our balances endpoint. Our balances endpoint is perfect for building multi-chain portfolio managers, as well as, network aggregators. How do you build a Uniswap dashboard, right? You can use our XY equals to K endpoint, which gives you all the liquidity pool information of any kind of Uniswap clone. You can build your own Coinbase wallet. You can build your own CoinGecko as well, right? So all these things you can build using the Covalent API. Now, let me just give you a brief example of what it looks like on a developer front when you're using the API. So typically you've got, this is what the API is. It is a string that you can use from your code, or in this case, I'm going to show you how you're going to just like key into your browser to get that information. This is a random address that I got from IoTeX network, from IoTeX scan, an hour before this presentation. And as you can see, we are getting the get token balances for address endpoint. This allows us to get the token balances for this address. And this person, you know, holds IoTeX token of this amount. Now this is denominated in weight, right? That's why it's such a large number. To get it in standard unit, you take this divided by 10 to the power of 18. And that will give you a more human readable number. This person also holds some rep BTC, which under IoTeX is IOW BTC. He or she also holds some rep Ether, also Binance USD. So all these information, right, can be used within your Dapp, within your front-end client. You can show its 24-hour balance, and we also give you the quote rate, right? Because most of the time, what we're interested in is, oh, how much does this balance translate to in terms of fixed currency? So this is denominated in USD. We also have an option for you to change the denomination so that the response that you get is relevant to you. Now, let me show you another example. Get log events by contract address. So this is another contract, and in fact, it is a liquidity pool on the IoTeX ecosystem. I believe it's Mimo Finance.
Mimo.exchange, yeah.
Mimo.exchange, right?
Yeah.
Mimo.exchange. So on this, you can find all the decoded log events. So if you collapse the items, you see that there are 4 items in this liquidity pool. That means there are 4 transactions, events emitted in this particular address. So we've got one sync event, and with this signature, right? As well as reserve 0 is this amount, and reserve 1 is this amount. We've got another swap event with this signature, you know, the classic swap signature, where the sender address, the amount in, amount out, and the to address. So these are all the log events that you can get from this API as well, endpoint. Well, I wouldn't go into details, but that will give you a brief, you know, feel of what kind of data you can query with our endpoint. This is our product, right? And it's up to you to integrate it into your Dapp if you see fit for your use case. Now I'll pass it back to Simone to quickly touch on how you can start building and what kind of Dapps you can build on the IoTeX ecosystem. Simone, please.
Yeah. Actually, I will go very fast, very quick here. Well, of course, thank you, Leibing, for this in-depth explanation. It was very interesting also for me to learn more. So definitely whatever you have shown is something that we are interested in seeing built in any hackathon. So for sure, if you guys want to build sort of an explorer, for example, for the DEX, right? We have an analytics for Mimo.exchange, but there is no explorer that lists the latest transactions, for example, by pair or any other type of data. We also have a very powerful bridge that connects IoTeX to multiple blockchains like Binance Smart Chain and Ethereum and Polygon, and there is one more coming very soon. We also have a kind of an official explorer for it, but I'm sure the community can build something more powerful than that, specifically using the Covalent API, and should be able to build something cool very quickly. Also, alternative explorers for the chain itself can be built, maybe with not so many features, but very useful ones can be definitely built as an alternative to the official IoTeX scan that we have. But for those people who want to maybe do more, of course, we want you also to build any type of client, also a wallet or a dashboard, right? That you can think of. We have a huge ecosystem, so you can get inspired by many Dapps, DeFi type of applications, and build like the more powerful tool that you can think of. But for those of you that want maybe to go more like do one step more and want to build your own Dapp using IoT data on IoTeX, and then use Covalent to build the front end or like the mobile application or whatever, the client for your own Dapp, then you may be asking yourself how you can get access to this IoT data, right? So we have up to today sold or shipped to the community over 1,000 of these devices, IoTeX Pebble Tracker, and many of them are already like running in the hands of people, sending out one data point every 5 minutes containing the GPS location of the device, the ambient light, the temperature data, the pressure data, the humidity data, and so on. And this data is getting collected already while we speak by the IoTeX Oracle. So in theory, if you want, you could, here is a very simple design, right? All the data from these devices is getting sent to the IoTeX Oracle. And basically you can very easily build a Dapp where the backend is fetching the data from the Oracle and sending the data to your smart contract. For example, to get the proof of location of a specific device and say to send out an airdrop to people that were located in a specific place for a specific time. Think of a platform where, for example, hotels or restaurants may want to like register an airdrop for their clients that visit their restaurant or that they go to their hotel in a specific day of the year, or people that go to attend to an event. Then they can set up an airdrop, and then the platform will actually airdrop these tokens to those people that actually went to the event or went to the restaurant or went to the hotel by just fetching the GPS data of the devices from the Oracle. So this can be done very in a simple way. We have a GraphQL API currently. This is already available for mainnet, even though this is the preview of the Oracle, which is going to be released this year. The preview is already working on mainnet and it's collecting data from real device, and this data is totally verified and trustable. So through this GraphQL API, you can very easily query device data records and do any type of query that you want based on the timestamp, so the time range, those that have the GPS, those that don't have the GPS data available, those that where the temperature is included in a specific range, whatever you can think of. And so it's just a simple query where you can very easily build maps like this one of devices if you want to use the GPS location. Every data point includes all this data. So you can also build, say, a very simple if this then that type of smart contract, right? That does something depending on your idea based on the values of a specific device or of a set of device. If some sensor data have crossed a specific threshold, or if the GPS location went outside of a specific geofence, that this is a little bit more complicated. But basically you just fetch the data from the Oracle, do your like processing in your backend, and then if the data is relevant to trigger something on chain, then you send it to the smart contract, and the smart contract will do something, and then you can use the Covalent API to like query the smart contract and display relevant charts or measures of this application. So this is one thing I would have liked to mention. If you guys want to try something with this data, there are already devices deployed and working, sending real data, trusted data it's very easy to query from the Oracle, and you can already use it in your DApp if you want to build something like more, say, MachineFi type of application. And of course, we have a Discord server where you can join. You find me and other people that can help you getting started with this technology. Yeah, I think that's all. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, we can move ahead towards our quiz. We've got around 5 minutes. I know this is almost getting to the end of the webinar, but thank you guys for staying. And this is the exciting moment of the quiz. Do you want to go ahead first? I think Simone would do the quiz for IoTeX first. And okay. And the format of the quiz, again, for those who joined late, is we'll ask the questions and just click on the raise hand button. And the first person to raise your hand will be allowed to talk. You can either talk or you can drop your answers in the chat. And the top scorer of this quiz will walk away with $50 USDT on-chain cash. All right, Simone, do you want to...
Can you maybe share the slide on your side?
Okay, no problem.
I don't have the slide with the quiz.
No problem. 1 second. All right.
Right. Okay. So question number 1. This is technical for those of you who have been very attentive. And this is, what's the consensus mechanism of the IoTeX blockchain? Is it proof of work, proof of stake, or randomized delegated proof of stake? Raise your hand if you know the answer.
Does anyone raise their hand? I don't see.
How many participants do we have?
Well, yes, I saw someone raise your hand. Lockwards Gov. Okay.
The answer is C.
Okay, yes. Some of you all have actually dropped your answers in the chat, but yeah, as the procedure for this is that you should click on the raise hand button, and the first winner of the first quiz is Lockwards. Good job. All right, shall we continue to the second?
You go to the next slide.
Okay, second question.
Second question for IoTeX. So what's the main focus of the IoTeX project? Is it connecting real-world machines and data to Web3 Dapps? Is it becoming the main decentralized platform for NFT gaming? Or it focuses to build a DeFi platform?
Okay.
This is an easy question.
I see Tolga. Tolga, please.
Yeah, somebody, a lot of people are answered A.
Oh, Mike's not available. Tolga says A. Is it A?
Yeah, it's A. It's correct.
It is A. Good job, Tolga.
Oh, Zach.
1. Okay, you guys need to put down your hands first, right? Because you can't just skip it. Please unraise your hand before we continue to the next one. All right, thank you very much. Third question.
And third question, what is Pebble Tracker? And is it a GPS tracker from a third-party company that is powered by the IoTeX blockchain?
I already see Gabriel.
Already answered?
Yeah, I already see Gabriel. Okay, Gabriel, would you wanna? Oh, have you already answered, Gabriel? A, or is that for the previous question? Hi.
Yes. Hello.
Hello. Would you like to answer the question? This one?
Yes, a GPS tracker from a third-party company that powered by the IoTeX blockchain.
And it's wrong, Gabriel. Sorry.
Oh no. Sorry about that. Anyone else would like to raise your hand again? Okay, Tolga, please. Okay, your answer is C. Is it C?
Is it C? And the difference is that it's not from a third-party company, but we designed it, IoTeX designed it, and it's general purpose. It's not only a GPS tracker, but it also has temperature and accelerometer and many other sensors.
All right, awesome. Good job, Tolga.
That was difficult.
That was close. That was close. You almost got it, Gabriel.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys. Could you unraise your hands again? All right, now for the part of covalent. This one is a bit tricky. If you have been paying attention, what are the 4 categories of class A endpoints, right? Is it this one, or this one? I think I see Gabriel raise his hand first. Gabriel, would you like to go ahead? A, no. That was not right. Tolga, would you like to try? Okay, yes, it is B. It is balances, NFT transactions, and base, right? Balances, NFT transactions, and base. This is a bit tricky. So good job, Tolga, again, currently leading the leaderboard. All right, guys, could you unraise your hands again? All right, second question. What is the name of the Covalent API mode if you want to get the data in CSV or Excel format? I did mention this just now, that there was this one mode. Raise your hand if you want to answer again. Okay, so I think Gabriel did not unraise his hand, so I'll go with Tolga.
Yeah.
Who C for sure? Yes, it is C. It is C. So it is analyst mode. So
hands down.
Yeah, hands down if you want to qualify for the next quiz. All right. What is the chain ID? Now, this is a bit tricky. If you want to make queries to IoTeX network, raise your hands, please.
I know this one.
Luck was. Luck was?
Luck was said B. I see.
B, yeah, and B is correct.
Correct.
B is correct.
Great job.
Good job, good job. All right, can you please unraise your hand now? Now for the final question. What is the latency in blocks of the real-time refresh rate using the Covalent API? I did mention this just now as well. Anyone, please raise your hand if you know this.
You must raise your hand first.
Yes. Okay,
Tolga.
we've got Tolga who typed in the chat that it is B, and it is correct. We are 2 blocks behind in real-time refresh rate in terms of the blockchains that we index. All right, and well, thank you for staying. And we've got a clear winner. We've got Lockworth with 2 points as a second runners-up, and Tolga with 4 points as the winner of this pop quiz. And you get to walk away with $15 USDT. So what will happen is that, could you just, thank you. Could you send me an email with your address? So it could be Ethereum address, or yeah, I'm just gonna type my email. Lockworth, I'm sorry, the second runners up does not have a prize. We only have a prize for the first top winner. So that's my email. Could you drop me an email with your Ethereum address? Wish you a good evening too. And this is we're almost to the end of our webinar. We are 5 minutes over time, but there's just this one final announcement, which is that we've got an IoTeX-Covalent hackathon coming up soon. We are currently planning for it, and we would like to see lots and lots of dApps being built on IoTeX. And what we discussed today were just some ideas, right? You've got more time to explore IoTeX a bit more, to explore the ecosystem, and also to explore the Covalent API. And I think the hackathon looks to be maybe coming up in, I think, a month or two, right? So stay tuned to our social media channels for more details. Okay? But it was fun. It was fun. Gabriel, I'm sorry, you did not win.
I think he scored 3 points or something.
I think Gabriel got 1.
Oh,
yeah. Wow. Yeah. But yeah, this is fun. Thank you guys for coming.
You can participate in the upcoming hackathon and win much more.
There's way more. There's way more at the hackathon. This is just a small taster of what's going to come, right? And well, thank you so much for your time as well, Simone. I think that was such an insightful presentation on a really futuristic project and company, what you guys are trying to build. Yeah.
Yeah, so thank you to you for having me, and thank you to everybody for joining.
Yeah, thanks everyone. We'll see you all again soon. All right.
Goodbye.
Take care. Have a good one.
Bye.
Bye.